Dexter, and there goes his sister Dee Dee. Oh boy, wonder what they're gonna get into today. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up.
What the fuck was the damage, my guy?
Not again. Back to the lab again.
Oh!
Making up anything he's imagining. There goes Dee Dee, his sister. He always argues with her. She thinks she knows it all because she's older and she's bigger. Whatever Dexter wants, he just goes and creates robots. It doesn't matter the size. Crazy tests and making a mess, and if they don't come out correct, well, you know what happens next. Uh-oh, back to the lab.
Fucking compete!
Oh, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again.
What is good, YouTube? It is your main man, the Source Kasuna, and today Asobimo definitely messed up. Well, I won't say today, but you know, Asobimo definitely messed up. So let's get right into this. So basically, if we go to our penetrator multi and penetrator constant, we have two constants and we have one multiplier. The multiplier is 15.05, as you can see right there. I don't believe it scales with dexterity, although it would be really nice if it did, because this skill, as you'll see, the way that this skill works, it's very hard to optimize this skill. But once you do optimize this skill, it is quite possibly one of the most fun DPS skills in the game. I would even go as far as to say it's one of the hardest skills to use in the game, just because of how it works. So how does piercing shot work? So piercing shot, basically, as you can see right here with the useful skills, we have a blue spot for non-grays, and then we have a red spot for grays. If you look at the red, notice how the damage is literally less than half of what it is up here. This is because piercing shot gains an additional constant bonus based on the boss's defense if you are hitting a actual critical hit on the skill. This means you cannot graze. This means you have to build enough accuracy to not graze. So this skill will have really good synergy with retrograde, but because of spread shot and, you know, all of the other skills that bow has, you're probably not going to want to use this on bow. This would be more useful on bowgun because this skill can replace Vanquisher. Even if you are grazing, it can replace Vanquisher. That is how good this skill is. So let's get right into the actual details. So basically, the constant is basically just it's basically just the boss's defense. I'll put it like that. So the constant, if you're grazing, is just 600. So it's basically just a weaker a stronger Vanquisher. But if you are hitting a critical hit, the constant is equivalent to the boss's defense. This means that the skill will always have a really high constant in most bosses, because most bosses have more than 7,000 defense nowadays. And so right now we're showing on Mimugan, but you can see just how much the damage will inflate or deflate based on the boss. So if we go to like Kusto, right, the damage drops down to 21 million on Kusto, but as you can see, it goes up on the graze hit at Kusto. Why? I don't know, but it definitely does go up on the graze hit. What's my physical pierce here? I have 100 physical pierce, so I don't know why it went up on Kusto, but the damage did go up on Kusto. I guess it's because of the resistance that Kusto has is less than Mimugan. But as you can see, for the non-graze hit, the damage went down by almost half. This skill is just it's a lethality skill, I'll put it like that, but it's really fun, and it's always going to be doing consistently more than Vanquisher. let me show you, for example. Now with Wolf Sniper, that's a different story. I think they'll be about even, but if you're building a sub arrow or gun fu, it's going to be consistently doing about as much as Vanquisher. So with our minimum damage, because of our stability, we're doing 16 million. Although if you're building 100% stability, I mean, that's kind of one of the main reasons why you build non-graze. You can actually get your minimum damage to be higher. This is an 80% stability build, minimum sacrifice to get maximum overall damage. And because it's a 5-hit skill and each skill has their own damage calculation, graze is not as big of a deal as it would be for like Vanquisher, for example, or stability isn't as much of an issue as it would be for Vanquisher. So now let's go to another boss, like I want to say Minty. When we get ultimate mode for Minty, look how much damage we're doing. Yeah, we're doing 45 million. That's enough to one hit. This is before whack. This is before whack, because if we turn whack on, we already are doing enough to one hit Mimigan at Minty. And so yeah, and by then we will have level cap 300. So again, at Mimigan we're doing almost 40 million damage, and it checks out with the in-game damage. I went and done the actual testing with the skill. This skill, I want to say, has really good synergy with the hunting buddy and with satellite arrow. But another thing about this skill is it's better built with short range damage, because attack and critical damage do not impact the damage nearly as much as short range damage and long range damage, because of this really high constant. Literally any attack or critical damage boost is going to be minuscule. Like look, I can add 10% attack here and you are barely going to see a difference. It only went up by 1 million total throughout all the hits. That is a very minuscule damage difference. Whereas if we change that back, again, it only went up by 1 million with a 10% attack bonus. And so you really want to build short range and long range damage. Another thing about this skill is you do need 100% physical pierce with this skill. Even if it's based on the boss's defense for the constant, you still need physical pierce, because this skill does not have any built-in physical pierce. And so if you do want to maximize the damage, you are going to want to go with 100% physical pierce. This means that this build synergizes best with short range damage. We have the Remnant of Beyond Crystal, which completely makes the damage busted. And as you can see here, our crossfire damage is very high as well in this build. And so it's just the overall synergy is really good for this build. Like I said, it's just really good synergy with this build. Another thing is the skill does work with quick loader, so those quick loader stacks, you can burn those on using penetrator shot, and because quick loader only has a 1 minute duration, that actually makes this skill viable for long runs, and you can actually have a decent rotation setup with this skill. It's really nice. I am trying to find a way to optimize my hunting buddy damage while I'm using piercing shot. Like I want to find a way to have more hunting buddy damage along with piercing shot, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm still working out the kinks with this build. That's why I haven't released the build yet. The main issue with this build would be side DPS, because you can use satellite arrow, but you're going to want to focus more on piercing shot in most runs, because it takes so long to charge, and the only way to speed up the charge is with interrupts, which makes this have really good synergy with gun fu. And because the new knuckle skills scale with dexterity, it's just really good synergy with gun fu. However, I believe with sub arrow it is much easier to reach that non-graze threshold. Sorry if you guys hear the cat in the background. I believe it is much easier to reach the non-graze threshold with sub arrow, because you get the free element, and you can also cap out the damage much easier with arrow, because you get the free element, which is a free 25 damage to element. This build can be pretty expensive, but I would say it's definitely worth it. In guild raid it would 100% be worth it, because it's like you're basically getting Vanquisher, but like better in my opinion, because it's just not, this skill also, okay, let me rewind a little bit. This skill it has evasion and guard pierce. That's where the piercing in the name comes from. This does bypass a percentage of evasion and guard. However, it can still be guarded and evaded, but the percentage in which it bypasses that is so high, you're almost never going to see it get guarded or evaded. Vanquisher, you're going to see that get guarded and evaded like non-stop in a lot of bosses. So because in case you didn't know, there is a formula to calculate how often a boss will evade your attack. I don't know the exact formula. I seen a data mine a very long time ago, but I know that the formula is based upon the damage that you would inflict with that cast of the skill. So like you can reach upwards of a 50-60% chance of the boss evading your attack if your damage is high enough. That's why Divine Slash is considered so overpowered, but like Vanquisher isn't, even though Vanquisher has a much higher damage ceiling than Divine Slash right now. So it's pretty annoying, but this skill bypasses that. So I mean, it's really nice to have. You don't have to worry about guard or evasion too much, and because you have to build this skill with non-grays, it's just really, I would say it's really worth it to build this skill, because the numbers don't lie. I've done these numbers in game with whack on and with enhance. I mean, I'm very close to being able to one-shot Mimughan with this, and I do want to get a a team setup where I can do that, but there's just not many buffs where I can actually one-shot Mimughan. So there's not enough buffs in the game right now, so it would take a little bit of assistance to one-shot Mimughan, but I think it's possible. I think it is definitely possible. If not now, it'll be possible at level cap 300. But anyways, hopefully this explanation helps someone. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.